do you fear? Is it the future? Is it the past? Is it yourself? Is it a vulnerability? Is it your ability? Is it something you did in the past? Is it something you haven't confronted? Please hold these thoughts in your own head tonight, because I'm going to ask a volunteer from the audience up on TEDx to talk about your fears tonight. So I'll come back to that. The internet and smartphones have this omnipresent fact in life and enable us to connect to new mediums, to apps, to news, to so many great and powerful and wonderful things, but they also can connect you to healthcare and to mental health care, to provide a support in your pocket, to reach the often unreachable. And that was our goal from the beginning. My name is Oisín Scollard. I'm co-founder of the online mental health organisation turntome.org, and Turn to Me is an online mental health support organisation that is connecting with over 50,000 people all over the world. But that's not where this story begins. You don't wake up one morning and decide, I'm going to set up an online mental health organisation, and especially when you have absolutely no mental health background, except maybe for knowing and understanding it. Where this story began was in 2003 on a cold winter morning when I received a phone call from my dad, who's here tonight, and that phone call had a lot of pauses, but it had a lot of meaning. And it was a phone call where I learnt that my brother Cormac, my friend Cormac, my confidant, had died by suicide. And that's a very dark moment in anyone's life. That's a moment where your life changes. You are left with lots of questions. You are left with a lack of answers. You are left with guilt. You are left with a deep longing to understand what may have caused that to happen. And you'll never get closure, and you will never get answers. It is when, sadly, the fear of life and living trumps the fear of death. And now you're attuned all of a sudden to statistics that you saw before, but they didn't make a whole lot of sense. 800,000 people are lost to suicide every year. There's a suicide currently every 40 seconds. By 2020, there'll be a suicide every 20 seconds. So I'm talking here tonight for 10 minutes. So there'll be 50 people who will have died by suicide at the end of this speech. And that's a startling number. In Ireland, it's 500. It's possibly a lot more. We don't know, because it's not reported fully unless there's absolutely categorical proof that it was a suicide. Some say in Ireland it's more like 800 people. And now, in dealing with something like that, you are on a new course. Suicide is silence. Suicide is guilt. How do you deal with that? What do you do? How do you rationalise it? You can't. You don't have answers. You cannot get finality. That's not natural to someone. That's not natural to humankind. Do you self-abuse? Do you take it out on a bottle? Do you bottle it up? Do you say, it's grand, don't worry about it, you'll be fine, soldier on, battle on? These are the things we do, right? They're coping mechanisms. But grief presents a vulnerability, a precious vulnerability that we are often fear to show, to display. I'm not vulnerable. I don't feel vulnerability. I'm fine. And recovery is a word feared. Have you ever searched for mental health support? You're hit with all these options: psychiatry, psychotherapy, psychology, counselling, mindfulness. Which one is for me? You're left with distress, panic, fear, isolation. If you pause for one moment and just think about that person who's looking to get that help, they're starting on that journey to open up about something that's within them, or something that may be around them, or something that is experienced within them. Think about that panic. Think about that distress that they go through to try and find that way forward. Feel that fear. Now at the start I said I was going to ask somebody up from the audience to talk about their fears. And I'm going to do that right now. So I'm going to randomly pick someone, so don't feel too uncomfortable about this. I'm not going to do that. But did you feel that fear for that 5 seconds that this guy might ask me up? Where's the exit? That's what it feels like for many people. That starting journey is that real fear. And that's where our inspiration came for the online meeting, because the beauty of being online and the beauty of being in someone's pocket is that you've broken down that barrier. You've made it easier for someone to start and to begin and to start to express what may be within them. You're not going to solve the problems. You're not going to fix someone. You're not going to come online and go, you know what, I'll have 4 sessions of online counselling with a counsellor through my phone and I'll be fixed, I can walk away. That's not how it works. But what it does do is it gives you that place to start, to package, to rationalise, to realise that you're not the most abnormal person in the world. In fact, this is very normal. And there are many people who have these vulnerabilities, these inner thoughts and fears. You are not really that unique in your suffering. And in 2009, myself and my brother Dermot walked into a bar. You can guess which one I am. The good-looking one. And we had an idea over a pint, like a lot of great Irish starting stories, and we said, why don't we make something that's available to people all over Ireland, all over the world, where they can start? And that's where Turn to Me was formed. And there were many fears, and there were many critics. There were people who said, this will never work. You're 2 guys who work in the web industry, you haven't a clue, you've no money. We took all of that, we packaged it up, we listened, we rationalised, and we still went ahead and did it. And we launched, and we feared we wouldn't even turn up, and they did. And they gave loads of money, and we got going. And we've grown to where we are. Had we listened to the fears, and our own fears, we would never have done it. And we would never have got to where we are. And you gotta wonder though, with the numbers that we've seen, what as a society are we afraid of showing these vulnerabilities, of discussing mental health, but actually doing something about it? And you realise it's not really that abnormal. There are 1/3 of the American population are currently experiencing some degree of anxiety unwellness. The World Health Organization says right now depression is the biggest disability on this planet. And we have seen, sadly, the numbers of suicide. So why are we not talking more? Why are we not getting more help? Why are we hiding within ourselves? And what is the thing that we fear most? There are new fears. There are new things that will disturb us, that will make us feel uncomfortable. There are antiphanophobia, the fear that when you walked into the room, that everyone in that room stopped talking about you. They might have even been saying something nice. Politicophobia, a fear or abnormal dislike of politicians. I think everyone in the room can sense that one. And chrysophobia, the fear of the colour orange. Now, who would fear an orange politician? Maybe that's the root of some of this problem. But I ask everyone again, what do you fear? That is the question that was posed at the beginning. And that's very personal to you, and it may be something that you, hopefully from tonight, will think about embarking on challenging, and that you will overcome what you fear, not fear what you might become, because small steps, little steps, can change those fears. It might be reaching out for support, for help. It may be going online to Turn to Me or many of the other online services. It may be confiding in someone. It may be going to a counsellor. Whatever it is, confront it. You can. I can. And we can. And we can action change. And we can move beyond your fears. Thank you.